Whitey, can you put into words what Lou Brock has meant to you in your life?
Well, actually, I wasn't lucky enough, Frank, that he got to play for me, but I would have loved to have him. Of course, I was lucky enough to have Coleman, who stole 100 bases 4 years in a row or something like that, 3 years in a row. But Lou Brock not only was a great base stealer, holding the Cardinal record, he was a good hitter. He had 3,000 hits. He was a tough out, and he was just really a good competitor. And I always said to Vince, I said when I saw him hit a golf ball, how good far he could hit a golf ball. I wish you could have hit like Lou Brock. I said you'd have had 150 stolen bases every year because he'd have been on base more. But over the years and the appearances I made with him and Gibby and all the red quarters at the ballpark and so forth, I got to know Lou pretty well, and I felt so bad for him when he had the amputation. I knew about his diabetes, and he's had a tough go of it the last few years, and I sure feel bad for his wife, and it's been tough, but they've been two great people, and the Cardinals lost a heck of a red coater, I tell you.
Hey, Whitey, how about Lou's personality? Did you ever see Lou Brock in a bad mood?
Well, I've sat with him at ball games at the ballpark and talked to him, and he never did say anything bad about anybody. And when he got up to speak in front of people, I think sometimes he used words he didn't even know what the heck they meant. But he was really a high-class guy when you got to know him. And no, I'll be honest with you, Frank, I've never seen him in a foul mood or unhappy about life. He was always a very cheery person.
Whitey, I know you didn't compete against him directly as a player or as a manager in the World Series, but people forget this. Lou Brock was one of the greatest World Series performers of all time.
Well, I tell you, I know that the word was that if he just slid at home plate in the series against Detroit, I think that they said he'd have been safe. But I also know I didn't know who the next hitter was, but they didn't tell him to slide, and Lou was just trying to get to home plate. But, I don't know. I mean, I think Harvey was the umpire that called him out, and Red always said he thinks he was safe, but I don't know. I wasn't there, but I wish they'd have had the replay then, just like I wish they'd have had it in '85.
And Whitey, what was it like being out on the field for every World Series and every opening day with your red jacket and being greeted by Lou Brock? Because that is the essence of Cardinal baseball.
Well, it was something, and when I first came here and when I was lucky enough to get elected to the Hall of Fame, it was awful nice. We had Musial alive, and Red was still alive, and then we had Brock, and we had Gibby, and we had Ozzie, and we had Suter. And then, of course, I got in 2010, so there was 7 of us, and then Tony got in a few years later, there was 8. And now, we're all dropping by the wayside. I know I'm the oldest living one now, and I hope that the numbers, I don't like to talk about, I'm probably next in line, but I feel good, and I think I'm pretty healthy yet, and I still got my mind. I've been a very fortunate guy.